share. All right, we're good to go. We're going. All right, so welcome, guys. This is something vaguely new for us. We recorded a video a couple months ago and we never posted it. We never did anything with it. But this is going to be our sports show. We don't really have a name for it, nothing of that nature. This is just a way for us to take our weekly conversations about football, other sports, life, whatever it may be, and put it out there into the world. There's someone for everything. So I'm sure someone will
Yep,
want to listen. Um, and even if no one wants to, it's for fun. It's something to do.
I'm
Um,
having fun.
I'm having a great time. I'm stoked to talk ball. Um, but I'm Marley, lifelong football fan. I've been doing this since I was 5 years old. Just it's all consuming to me. I'm here with Larry. He's pretty new to the game. This is what, year two for you?
Yep, year two. Um,
Um, Go right ahead.
very new to the game, but very eager to learn. Um, I won't say that I've never watched football before
Mm.
these past 2 years. I've watched, we'd watch it as a family every year, the Super Bowl. Um, Always a great time,
Oh yeah.
and really got into it. People will be maybe a little disappointed, but hopped on the bandwagon, and it's been all pain ever since. But we're sticking with it, and we're gonna ride this out. This is my team. I fell in love, and we're not going anywhere.
It was a really fascinating thing to experience as a, like I said, lifelong football fan. That someone new to the game was so eager to jump on the Lions train, and then be shocked at the disappointment they received. It was quite the concept. But we're here. We're stoked to talk about playoff football. We're finally here. I'm. I haven't experienced this much in my life, and I have a really important game tonight that we will definitely be getting to shortly. But we're going to start us off with the NFC. We're going to kick it over to this first Saturday game we have on our slate with the Rams and the Panthers, and I'm going to let Larry take it away.
This one I think is probably one of the easier ones. I have the Rams.
Yep.
I think their regular season matchup was kind of I won't say a fluke. I
Mm.
don't think there's flukes in NFL. Things happen. Um, but the Rams, I think, are one of the best put together teams this season. They got Devontae Adams coming back, and this is just obviously the Panthers. I had some high hopes for them going into the playoffs, but I think with this matchup in particular, they're just too plucky, too inconsistent, and they're gonna fall short.
No, absolutely. And shockingly enough, being how long he was with the Lions, you're not too familiar with his playoff capabilities. But we've seen in past years Matty Stafford go out and have himself a game. Go out
He's
there
a dog.
and do the things he needs to do to win these football games on these big stages. Um, and I think that in the NFL, experience does go a long way. And that ability to step out there and treat it closer to a regular football game than a playoffs, that you're going home. If you lose, it's over. There's no second chances. There's no nothing. You're going home. Um, and that's where I think the lights might be a little too bright for some of the Panthers players, especially their quarterback Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young has developed very well this year and proven to a lot of people that he is a viable quarterback in this league.
Yeah.
Um, which obviously it's only year three. Who knows where he could go? It's been fun to watch him improve. Um, and I think he's going to have a solid career in the NFL. But I don't know if he's ready to go out there and take on a Rams team that looked like the for sure one seed for most of this season. That's the biggest issue. Is this is a Rams team that easily could have been the one seed. If one game flopped, they would
Right.
have been the one seed, and that is a daunting task for the Panthers, especially a team of being the Rams that travels super well. I can't remember if it was last season or the season prior, but they were supposed to have a home game at SoFi Stadium, and it got moved. They had to go play in Arizona because there was wildfires in California, and they couldn't play there. And they still went out there and won that game. I believe that was last year because they beat the Vikings. If I'm not mistaken, that was how that shook out. Um, but I have more faith in this Rams team going on the road and taking a win and proving that, not to say fluky like you were saying, but to prove that they could have won that first game. They were the better team the whole time, and
Right.
football happened that Sunday. Um, though I do still think this will be a good game. I won't predict a
Definitely.
blowout or anything of that nature, but it's going to be interesting. Um, you have any other thoughts on this game?
No, I didn't really do much on this one because
Mm.
I feel like I I personally feel like this is one of the easier ones.
Oh yeah, it feels a little cut and dry.
Yeah.
Um, but that's what you get. It's interesting. Typically, the 4-5 matchup is the one that's the hardest to pick. But this playoffs has been a little funky. There's a lot of stuff going on
It's
that's
a
like
weird
wouldn't
year.
be expected.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
but that takes us to the night game on our Saturday slot of the Chicago Bears
Fun one.
hosting the Green Bay Packers for the wild card. This is what dreams are made of. I'm very nervous. I have a lot of emotions about this game, but I'm so excited. We talked in weeks prior, and I personally wanted the Packers again. I wanted that matchup. I want to show that it's a new thing. This is not the same old Bears, the bad news Bears that it's been for so long. Since we lost to Green Bay in that NFC Championship in 2010. Ever since then, it has been downhill. And this is a great stepping stone to prove that this team is different and this team is different for the future. I'll kick it over to you because I could rap forever on this.
So this one, honestly, this one and one other that we'll get to is in this first round is I'm very excited for this.
Mm.
Um, both divisional rivals. Um, rooting for the Bears. I'm rooting for the Bears, but the Bears haven't beaten the Packers in a playoff game since Pearl Harbor. They played in Wrigley Field.
The Sunday following.
The, the Packers are getting Jordan Love back. He is not 100%. This Packers team is getting healthier a little bit. They're going to be playing in horrible weather. Um, Packers have been very impressive even when they've been beaten up. That being said, the Bears are going to win this game. I feel like this something again. I've only been here for 2 years, but something about this team feels like a playoff team, and not just a first round playoff team, not just like a one and done. This feels like a team that goes to the playoffs and will do consistently well in the playoffs. I feel like this offense is really firing up. There are some problems with the defense, um, but this team every game just finds a way to come back from the absolute worst circumstances, close gaps, and make miracles.
Oh, absolutely. It's For years it's been the Bears go down 2 scores. I'm just assuming the game's over. We'll try again next week. But while it's not a super sustainable way to play football, there's only been 1 or 2 games this year where we were just out, where there was nothing we could do to get back. That was our first game against Detroit. And, all right, relax there, dog. What time you guys play this weekend? Yeah, yeah.
Next year.
Um, but I have high hopes for this team. We're getting Kyler Gordon back. Um, One of our star corners. He he has some gaps in his game. When he's on the field, our defense improves drastically. The times he's been on the field this year, where I believe we are fourth in EPA on defense. and we dropped to 26th without him. He is a big cog to that defense working and working properly. He fits Dennis Allen's scheme very well. Though unfortunately we will be missing C.J. Gardner-Johnson for this game. He has a concussion. Likely he'll be back for a second game if we can get past this first one. Um, but he's one of the best rentals I've ever seen this team do, where we go out and get somebody and he plays to his fullest potential. He's tied for fourth on the team in interceptions, and he's been here since week 8 or 9. It's been very fun to watch him play, and it's a lot of people talk about his locker room issues and how he can be tough there, but he loves the city. He loves the fan base. He's proven to be nothing but great for our locker room. Things have genuinely been great since he's been on the team, and I'm so glad he was, I believe, released early in the season. Um, but beyond that, we played San Francisco, and our defense couldn't stop them. We could not buy a stop. And we were still a ball flying 2 yards farther in the air from winning that game at the last second. We were still in it. This offense will fight and grind and get yards to the very end. And I think that in a playoff matchup where it's snowy and the wind's kicking and the weather is just terrible, it's going to be on the ground, and I think that's where things are really going to change. Honestly, glad it's Love and not Malik Willis. Love is a good quarterback. He's better than Willis, in my opinion, but he opens up an option game that we won't have to worry about with Love.
Right.
It's that extra element of run game that we won't have to deal with in a game where run game is going to be important. I think we all know where I fall in terms of prediction here, but I'm just so excited to see my football team playing on this grand stage again. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Go Bears.
And then, I just want to add Ben Johnson
Absolutely.
is stellar. Um, you can't really take anything away from him, even in a lot of the games, except against us in week 2. Uh, Even the games that you've lost this season have been tremendously close, and just one little thing went differently, you guys would have won those games. So I definitely have a lot of trust in the Bears.
No, and it's very nice to hear from a division rival fan, because that's not how it's been for years. I think Ben Johnson's only knock is sometimes he can get a little too cute on those fourth downs, those fourth and shorts where it's just get the ball over the line.
Yeah.
But I think that he's gonna go out there and prove why he was the top coach in multiple coaching cycles, where it felt like he waited for this Bears job because that's exactly what he wanted. But we won't stay too much longer on this Bears game. I could talk for hours. We're going to kick it to the final NFC matchup, just going to clean sweep it, and that is Philadelphia and San Francisco, playing in Philadelphia. How are we feeling?
This one is very tough for me. I'll start off. Both these teams know each other very well at this point. It feels like these are the two of the most dominant teams in the NFC the past few years. This is almost like there's almost like a rivalry brewing here.
Mm.
Um, they battled for the NFC Championship. They've met quite a bit in regular seasons. These are two. Personally, I don't like these teams, but I don't like them because they're so damn good,
Mm.
and they ruin seasons. Um, we'll look at like the Eagles first, right? The Eagles are just a hardened playoff team.
Mm.
Jalen Hurts has not missed a single playoffs in his entire NFL career. Um, that defense is just unbelievable. One of the best in the league. There have been some inconsistencies though. Offensive play calling, offense in general has been a little shaky for the Eagles this year. Seems like they can't really, they struggle to put up a lot of points, or
Mm.
the points that I think that they should be putting up in certain games. So I just feel like they've been falling short in that aspect. The Niners, on the other hand, again, incredibly impressive. I know I'm not too certain what, but I know that there are some pretty key injuries on the Niners.
Yes, some pretty
But
severe.
they've been playing beat up all year,
Mm.
and still they found their way to the playoffs in a very tough division. Um, that's a team that I know they know how to win. Incredible coaching, incredible offense. I think it's going to be a battle. It's going to be I don't know. I don't want to say a shootout, but it's going to be a very, very tough game. And I think I'm going to give the edge to the 49ers.
Oh wow. Oh wow. You see, I differ here. Personally, and I know this is a team
Yeah.
that the Bears kind of ran through, just put the ball down their throats and frankly stomped them. And we lost to San Fran. But San Fran lost a key piece this week, maybe a week and a half ago. They lost Tatum Bethune. Tatum Bethune has been their middle linebacker since Fred Warner went down. He's stepped up and he's played phenomenal football. Yeah, there's a groin injury that's going to keep him out for the entire postseason. Now, I can't speak on whether or not he was their defensive signal caller once Fred Warner went down. I believe he was, though. And that changes a lot for a defense. Not only to lose your star
Right.
middle linebacker, if probably the best one in the league, if I had to say so. But to lose his replacement, that hurts a defense in a lot of ways. And I think that while obviously, as you were saying, Philly has had their offensive inconsistencies this year and haven't played their best football, I think that against a battered San Fran defense, they'll be able to put up their numbers and get that offense rolling. Saquon Barkley hasn't had his greatest season. He is still an absolute threat every time he steps onto the football field. He is someone you have to worry about and account for.
Yeah.
And I don't see San Fran's answer to that other than offense, which, like we were just saying, and this is slightly contradictory of myself saying that the Bears can hang and almost beat them and all that stuff. Um, I think Philly's going to wear out San Fran. And with their missing pieces, I don't think they're going to be able to put it fully together this postseason. Um, but also they fight. They absolutely fight. This is going to be a gritty game, and this is really a tough call for me. But I do think Philly's going to edge them in this game.
Yeah. No.
Anyways,
I think personally, I think this is going to come down to how well these offenses can handle these defenses. Um, no, pause. Um, I don't know. There's something about this game that feels like one team's gonna do great, the other's gonna fall apart.
mm,
I just feel like the Eagles are the ones that are gonna fall apart.
no, I can't argue necessarily.
It will, yeah, it will be a gritty game nonetheless, though.
Um, shall we move on? We're gonna head to
We
the
shall.
AFC for their 4-5 matchup, and that is gonna be the Houston Texans going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Um, I have some preconceived feelings about this Pittsburgh Steelers team, of course, because the bad man is there, the guy that has ruined so many years of my life. Um, however, I also hate Pittsburgh. Never been a Steelers guy. And I kind of see the writing on the wall here. Houston is playing some top-notch football. Their defense is doing very impressive things, and they're doing it without disguises. 4% of the time they'll run a stunt or a misdirect or something of that nature to throw the offense off. 4%. The rest of the time, it is we're not disguising our coverage, we're not hiding our blitzes. We're going to go out there and we're going to stop you. We're going to be better than you. And while it is not in totality the most sustainable thing ever, the fact that they're going out there and being a top 10 defense, top 5 defense, while just straight up showing their hand, shows how impressive the actual talent and the actual play has been. On top of that, their offense has been it's been clicking. It's moving again. CJ Stroud has looked solid. They're running the ball. They're putting the pieces together on the other side of the ball enough that, in my opinion, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense won't be able to stop it, and I don't think their offense is going to be able to do much against their defense.
I don't know. This one, I feel like this is such a on paper Houston, right? Like you said, best defense in the league. This is one of the this team for me has been fun to watch, especially as a new fan because it's one of the reasons I liked the Lions so much. They play these are football players. They play football. They play tough. They're gritty. And I see a lot of that in the Texans as well, especially in their defense, best in the league. The coaching is impressive. Um, but there's just little things, a lot of little things that are adding up for me in favor of Pittsburgh. Um, Home field advantage is number one, of course, as always. Tomlin is undefeated in Pittsburgh on Monday nights. Aaron Rodgers could be looking at his last chance, which you don't want to put Aaron Rodgers against the wall. You don't want to put that man in a corner. Um, this could be his last shot at another ring. But that being said, the way that this Steelers offense plays, it's not going to be able to hold up to this Texans defense.
No, absolutely. Like, they have a good offense. They run the ball very well. Kenneth Gainwell out of the backfield is a very, very good receiving back. But there's something to this Texans team that they fought back and rallied and got back to the playoffs when they looked like they were down and out for a good chunk of this year.
Yeah, in that division too.
And I understand what you're saying with Rodgers. That's completely fair, and I do think Rodgers is going to play well. But I think at this point in his career that certain magic he had is kind of gone. They're going to be able to scheme stuff up, and he's going to see things that a lot of other quarterbacks won't. But I still think in totality this Texans defense is too good. It's going to stop them.
Right.
But no, so I lean Houston in this
Yep.
matchup all the way.
But yeah, just like in this next matchup, quarterback could be phenomenal. You could have the greatest quarterback on the planet, but if rest of the team isn't going to be able to hold up, what's the use? So yeah, should we move on?
Which is a perfect segue into our next matchup
Yeah.
of the Patriots hosting the Chargers. I'll let you take this one away. Take the lead off.
This one I don't think is so cut and dry either. There's so many different factors that I feel like layer on top of each other for this game. The Chargers defense will be by far the toughest challenge the Patriots have faced all season. Um, the Chargers starters are rested. Herbert's back. Everyone's rested, ready to go. Essentially got a bye week. That could be good or bad, especially going to the playoffs. Um, their offensive line is banged up though still, and that's going to be an issue for the Chargers. I could see this being a very heavy defense game.
Mm.
And I think this is one of those games that is going to come down to every play matters. And I'm going to give the edge to the Chargers.
Ooh. See, this is the other place where we differ. Um, I didn't go too hot takey, or not to call it what you said hot takey, but like I didn't. I went pretty chalk with these picks because I have pretty good feelings about them. But you're right. The Chargers defense sits at fifth in the league in yards per game allowed. However, New England does sit at number 8 in that metric. Now, obviously, they've played some weaker opponents, and they've played some teams where, their 282 per game is. That's a good game for that offense. But at the same time, it shows that the defense does hold strong, and they do keep those teams down low. Um, and in that same vein, that offense has been special. Travion Henderson, since he started getting the ball, has been a fantastic, fantastic running back. Um, Stephon Diggs has been playing well. Aside from his off the field issues, his actual play has been solid. Um, and that offense it's been moving. It
It's
moves
been
the
chugging.
ball, and that's what it does. And I think that with the key injuries to the Chargers, their offensive line still being incredibly banged up. Omari and Hampton's only been back for about 4 weeks at this point. While he's still been good, he still missed a good chunk of this season being a rookie. Um, so not that many true NFL snaps under the belt to this point. And I think that in terms of coaching, I love Mike Vrabel. I've always been a huge Vrabel fan. He's a winner. That's what he does. I know there was a couple rough years in Tennessee, but there were still years where they were making it to the AFC Championship game and still playing in these big moments. And especially from his career with the New England Patriots, he's a winner. That's what he does. And I think that while Jim Harbaugh Jim Harbaugh has been a great coach for the Chargers and has had a pretty solid coaching career, I think Vrabel is a little more new wave and a little more suited for today's NFL. And I think that he is going to take this Patriots team very far. Whether it's this year or in the coming years, I'm not sure, but he's
Oh
going
yeah,
to do great things for this team.
yeah. Definitely can't count these guys out.
No, absolutely not. Um, but speak of other guys you can't count out. We got the Buffalo Bills going to Jacksonville, and this is a 3-6 matchup of all 3-6 matchups. This is a team that feels like they could have easily missed the playoffs this year to start the year, that has battled back and looked fantastic, to another team that had a down year and still has its moments where it looks like it might be the best team in the league. Um,
Yep.
Josh Allen is one one of, if not the best quarterback in the league. Even with his down year, he's still a top 3 to 5 quarterback. He's still gonna will your team to games. He's still gonna go out there and get 6 to 7 combined touchdowns in a game. And that being said, this Jags team is so cohesive. They work so well together. They have been putting up points and beating teams where I thought for sure they were going to lose. That Denver game, I thought Denver
Mhm.
was going to go out there and ugly
Yep.
football their way to a win, and Jacksonville just shootout, stop us. Um, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this game.
I don't have many. Look, Josh Allen is Superman, but the team is in shambles.
Yeah.
And Sean McDermott is not cutting it anymore. I feel like Josh Allen is probably gonna be looking at an Elway type career where
Mm.
he's gonna get that ring, but it's not gonna be anytime soon with a Bills team like this. Jacksonville is just too dynamic right now. And I feel I don't know. This point in time I feel like this could be a Super Bowl team. I don't feel that way about the Bills. So I think it's Jacksonville all the way. The Bills will probably put up a decent fight, but Jaguars
No,
are definitely taking this.
that's a fantastic comp for Josh Allen, actually. That John Elway comp is fantastic.
Yeah,
A little play style too. They're similar in that aspect, but also that he's going to get close a couple times, but it's going to take a while to finally get over that hump. And I do think that Buffalo needs to retool this offseason. They have some pieces there, and I won't act like they don't have weapons for Josh Allen because they absolutely do. James Cook's a top
yeah,
back in the league. They have great tight end play. Um, and the receiver core is nice, but it's felt lacking at times. Um, and there's also been games where their defense didn't do much. They didn't do much to get stops or prevent it from getting to that shootout point. While they still have had a fantastic defense, there has been games where their defense seemed porous. Um, but I do think that Jacksonville has been coached very well this year, and they've been playing very, very great football, and that is going to take them pretty far this year. I think this is a year where they're not a first round exit, and they can get out there and do something. I still remember Trevor Lawrence and the Jags when he was in year two, maybe. They were facing the Chargers and they went down big. I want to say 23 points. And they battled back and ended up winning the game. It's one of the biggest comebacks in playoff history. And there's something in him. There's that playoff aspect that the lights
yeah,
aren't too bright. I remember watching him
absolutely.
with Clemson beat my Fighting Irish. And that was painful, but I could just tell when he was on the field, he was one of the best players, if not the best player touching the grass at that moment. And I think that's still in him. Um, so I got Jacksonville taking this.
Yeah, it's just I mean the Bills this season have been underwhelming. Like they've had some good wins, but also some very confusing losses. I don't trust them.
No, absolutely.
And the
Um,
Jags have just they've come from behind all year. This team, especially with how things went last year for them, this is very impressive. It's almost reminding me of how things went with the Bears. Two teams that didn't really do great last season, but got some things in order, and now they are doing tremendous. And maybe that could even be a matchup that we see in the Super Bowl.
I would not complain. You would not hear a single
Mm,
complaint out of me, sir.
It'd be a good game.
It'd be
It'd
a
be a
great
good
game.
game.
I would be very nervous. Um, but I totally agree. I think Jacksonville's going to go very far. I think the Bears the same. And I think a lot of that has to do with the new head coaches. I won't say entirely. There's been
Absolutely.
great. The players have been playing great. That's the biggest part. But head coaching does something. When those players are bought in,
Right.
when Liam Cohen kind of looks weird to start the year with his Duval, and people are out on him already, and no one wanted to give him a fair shake, and then he goes out there, and he coaches one of the best teams in the league, builds them up, help pushes them to where they should be. And that's missing their third overall pick, Travis Hunter. He's missed most of the season. And I think that between that and if you've seen any of the locker room clips from after these Bears wins, the good, better, best, the Ben Johnson ripping his shirt off and feeding families, literally, it's Chicago as a city is so bought in on this team. And if you can get a whole city behind you rooting this way, bear down, put up on in lights on the buildings, everyone's blue and orange everywhere you see. It's it really shows you that if you can get that many people together and rooting for something and so bought in, how do the players feel? These players are probably ready to die for that coach. And
Absolutely.
that's the biggest aspect in this game of football. You have you have your full roster, you have your guys, you got 11 guys every play, but that coach means just as much. And I think we've really seen that this year. Um,
Absolutely.
but that is our week one NFL playoff picture predictions. Um, I obviously I'd like to say I feel good about my picks because they're my picks, but at the same time, it's going to be a lot of good games, and I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of my predictions show up wrong. A
Same
lot can
here.
be
Yeah.
shaken up. But any other thoughts from you, Lars?
Nope. Um, it's a wonderful sport. It's been a blast getting into it, and I'm excited to see how things shake out.
So am I. I'm excited you got to feel the pain of missing the playoffs. You guys don't even
Has
understand how
been great.
insufferable he was
Been great.
last year. Finally get into football and you pick a team that goes 15-1. He needed a year like this. He needed to understand. He wasn't there when you guys went 0-16 and 0-8. He didn't know,
Well,
but
I felt a fraction of that
you
this
don't
year.
even know what those people
I
felt.
don't know the struggle. I don't know the struggle.
But well, that's all I've got, man. I think I'm ready to leave it off. If anyone's still here, thank you for watching. It's been a
Oh yeah.
blast talking about this. We were gonna do it anyway, so we figured why not give it to the people. And we'll be back with week two. I think we have some plans to do a head coaching carousel, which I just got a Schefter notification that Clint Kubiak was being interviewed by the Falcons. So we're definitely gonna have a lot to talk about there. I know you're excited about a little Mike McDaniel action potentially. Um, but we'll see how that all goes. Thank you guys for
Oh yeah.
watching, and
Thank
we'll do this again soon.